So it is 5:34 on January 9th, 2023. Happy New Year, everybody. And I call to order the meeting of the Holyoke Historical Commission in the great city of Holyoke. Right away, I need a motion to move out of order and go to announcements.
I make a motion to go out of order to go to announcements.
I second.
Commissioner Audrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice Chair Gauthier,
Yes,
Commissioner Salazar.
Yes.
Is anybody else here? Is Lisbeth or Joseph? I cannot see everybody.
Joseph just texted me. He is still on the train. He does not think he'll be able to make it back from New York.
All right, Commissioner Mizell?
Yes.
Okay. So announcement, Olivia Mizell has been appointed to the Historical Commission and signed her paperwork today. She already went through the process. I'm sorry, I didn't find out when I put together the agenda was later. So I hope that this introduction is adequate and
Fine.
wonderful. Thank you. So motion to go back to item 2.
I make a motion to go back in order, item 2, to review minutes.
Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gauthier,
Yes,
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizell,
Yes.
and the chair vote yes. Before we start with the minutes, can everybody state their name for the record
Mhm.
of the public? Or maybe we can read names. We have Jamie Mayer, Sue Brulette, our intern, Trinity Kendrick. I don't want to butcher Kate's name, Kate Krukermi. Sorry, Kate. We have I don't know who Deb is. So
And Sandy.
thank you. And then we have Sandy Ward. Am I forgetting anybody?
Who's in the room with you?
No, they signed the
Oh,
sign-up sheet,
okay.
so we're covered on that. Excellent. Oh, and we have chat. Perfect. Very good. We have 2 sets of minutes. Commissioner had a chance to review.
Yes. I made changes and sent the edits to Chris as requested.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just got them. I have a question for October 2022 minutes. I did send them. I don't know why we're going to review them.
No, I just put a review because I did not see them online. So I just wanted to ask you I just put review them just in case, because
Okay.
I was wondering if something happened because I did not see them online.
So what do you,
So they were sent to be uploaded to the website,
yes.
and when?
Do, do. It was November. Let's see. think November 16th.
Okay, so we'll make a point that they are uploaded as soon as possible.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Comments on the two set of minutes that we received? I made a bunch of correction. I didn't send them to you, Chris, yet. I found very difficult going through them.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to reject November and December's minutes and start over again.
I second that.
So the motion is to reject the minutes of November and December. Could you say why?
They're just not done in my, there's a lot of information missing, just the whole template. I'm sorry, it's very messy to me. It's very messy.
What I found is I found incorrect information and unclear sentences.
Yes, yes.
So I would make a motion that we reject the minute because contain too much,
Errors.
too many informational error and grammatical lack of clarity.
Okay,
So if you can make the motion,
We made the motion.
you made the motion, you're right. Okay, but that should be on the minutes to
Okay.
have it on record. All
okay,
right, Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes, yes.
Vice Chair Gauthier,
yes,
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
and Commissioner Mazel, you weren't
I'm gonna
there.
pass.
You know what you do. Commissioner Mazel abstain and the chair votes yes. So I am going to share screen. Beautiful. We are moving to the approval of the letter of support for tax credit for the right block. Commissioner, you all had a chance to review?
yes.
Yes, the only thing I noticed, there is some sort of inserted line in the middle of a sentence in the first paragraph, first full paragraph after the word area. It's almost like the cursor is stuck right there. Nope. The second full paragraph where it says businesses to the area.
Yes, it's because what you're seeing is a screenshot of the letter.
Oh, okay. So
It
that's
will not appear in the printed letter.
okay. I think that was all that I noticed in terms of grammatical or anything to that effect.
Very good.
No further comments from me.
Can we approve?
There's just one grammatical thing in the last paragraph,
Yes.
in the potential for it becoming.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yep.
What's the error?
It's in singular.
Yeah. Just
It.
IT.
For it becoming?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it could actually be both. But because it's possessive, but since
It to becoming is another.
we will change. May we approve?
Yes, I make a motion to approve the letter of, I'm sorry, I can't, if this is a letter of support or this is for his, okay, letter of support for rights block.
Second,
The motion is to approve the letter of support for historic tax credit for the right block. Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes,
Vice Chair Gauthier,
yes,
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Commissioner Mazel,
Abstain.
and the chair votes yes. Wonderful. So we are proceeding to item number 4. Mayor Garcia addressed the commission option for oversight within the city of Holyoke as a certified local government. Mayors, thank you for coming. So as we share screen, I will share a letter that I sent the mayor on Halloween. And again, sometimes meant no disrespect, but because I've known the mayor for a few years, sometimes I address him as Josh. What you see erased is classified information that I cannot show with the public. But what I wrote is, I hope that you are having a great Halloween weekend. Everybody love Batman. I am writing since we are getting close to the end of the year, and soon a new budget will be proposed. Chris and I would like to talk to you in regarding the commission and its future. This may require funding. I so hope you may be inclined to create a new position, even part-time, which could serve both the Historical Commission and the museum. I would also hope that you consider moving the commission to Wisteria Hearst. This location seems much more sensible and appropriate for us at this time. The ACC had a very productive year. The preservation ordinance passed with thanks to the City Council moving bipartisan effort. We have been working closely with institutions who are applying for historical rehabilitation tax credit to make sure that they are providing with strong and precise letter of support. The Commission is also looking closely at this application project to make sure that the work is done properly. We have written new rules and created new procedure for CPA historical restoration grant to ensure smooth going through the process. We have created a solid direct relationship with official at Mass Historic Commission. Finally, we will be starting to focus on new surveys and inventorying for important building district and sites in our city. We also need to restore our archive that, as you may know, at this moment are in an acceptable condition, both the digital and the analog one. We also plan to help attract investor and business to High Street that are preservation-minded. In the many years that I have been on the commission, I've never seen such a dedicated and well-informed group, profoundly dedicated to properly serve the city in protecting and restoring historical assets. It would be wonderful if we could find ourselves in a context where we could have trained staff support and surrounding environment that support our function. Please let me know if Chris and I could come see you this week, either Wednesday or Thursday morning. If this is too soon, a notice, let us know when we could make a time, blah, 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 for November 7th. We met with the mayor mid-December, and I'm gonna let the mayor speak. I have asked him to, it doesn't seem there's, if I understand correctly, that you would want to put in the budget a position for a preservation specialist, but I'll let you speak and give your reason.
Hey, commissioners, thanks for having me. And it's, you know, just before I got that letter, I recall communicating with you guys to meet and discuss. And yes, we did meet and talk about a lot of things that you're putting in front of me. I'm so happy that Olivia has made its way back in the commission. I heard in the letter that for the first time in a few years, I could recall that you've been on for 20 years, more or less. A very volunteer commission with no staff, no capacity, and got a lot of stuff done during your tenure. So that part of the communication there, I just wanted to make sure that that was accurate. And just some historical context. The Historical Commission hasn't had any staff capacity just until maybe the last 2 years, 3 years. When did the commission start working with?
That is not correct. We had staff for at least 6 years.
With OPED?
Correct.
So I think, the intent there, when we think of the needs of the city, as far as services and meeting mandates and navigating liability, we all know that historic preservation, just like everything else, is a priority. What nobody wants to hear is what's more of a priority than others. And just because something else is more of a priority doesn't make something less important. Obviously, what the work that the Historical Commission does is equally important as everything else, be it DPW, be it police, be it building and public health. But there are other needs of this city that certainly rise above the priority here, including, what we're trying to do in the building department and public health, as well as the legal department and other departments where for the last decade or so, the city of Holyoke has felt behind, to say the least. And then I get requests from departments that, again, doing equal important work, Wisteria Hearst Conservation Commission, Historic Commission, that are requesting, what you're requesting is not unique, is what I'm saying, to say the least. And for an already strapped budget and what we're trying to do to right size the ship is how I refer it to here in the city of Holyoke. I ran a management campaign and trying to keep up with the needs while also taking a much more responsible financial position so that we're a little healthier than where we were before financially in the world of local government. So yeah, when I say I don't have any interest at this time to fund a staff person full-time for the next fiscal year in Historical Commission, those are the reasons why. However, it doesn't mean that we can't be as creative as possible as everybody else is to navigate, to meet basic needs so that folks can carry out the objectives of why we're here. And so, you have the actual job of what we're trying to do, and then you have to establish the governance and how you want to achieve those objectives. In this case, we're talking about the objectives of the Historical Commission. And I think that that's where the strategic alignment was established with OPED for, number one, cross information sharing purposes, because you have staff at OPED also involved with the redevelopment authority, involved with the planning board, involved with other committees and that are involved. So there's that sharing of information and also that creative aspect that I was talking about where, they house the staff capacity and they're able to, at that, sustain the needs of each of these boards and committees. Through our conversation and emails that I've been getting from the chair, it sounds like to me that the Historical Commission, assuming she's speaking for the body, is not necessarily getting its expectations meet as far as the staff support that you're getting.
We're not allowed to talk about that. So what we're here tonight is to talk for the possibility of having a preservation specialist, which is not, so let me just because you brought a lot up, so I would like to clarify a few things. It's not just a staff person. It's a preservation specialist that could serve us and the museum and now bring thousands of dollars in grant money in, and also help. We had to pay, CPA had to pay for a CPA consultant, which is very much needed. So it's not just to staff us, it's to right now in open, and I have to double check, but in the planning department, there is not one person with preservation expertise. The other thing that's very important to think about is we have now a $1.9 million congratulations, surplus on the budget. And that surplus exists because the value of our building goes up so much. So the taxes have increased, so we have much more revenue. So
That's not why it
again,
exists, but go ahead.
it's, well, a lot more money has come in though, am I correct, from taxes because our building value has increased greatly? And that's what was said in your letter too, in the communication, is that we have gotten a lot more money from that. And I don't want to go
No,
into.
that's not
I don't
why
wanna
the
go
surplus
into
exists.
detail,
That's
but-
why the free cash exists. But Paola, let me just,
No, let me finish.
well, hold on,
Let me.
hold on,
finish.
because I didn't,
Let's not get into
Paula,
this minutia.
you,
Mr. Mayor, you are
I
against
didn't
the
finish with my statement and you cut me off in the middle, so I could.
statement.
And just to be clear here and to the rest of the board, this is an example of what I don't want any of appointed board members and committees to do. What I expect are people to work together and to collaborate and to respect each other. I don't expect anything more different than that. With every board member that I meet, that I appoint, I always make it clear, doesn't matter what you do as far as the subject area is concerned, is whether I agree or disagree with it, doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that board members are transparent and that they work together and they respect each other. And that there's, a greater deal of collaboration. Anything more or different or over anything more than that exceeds what I expect, which then results, in if whether or not I even want folks serving on a particular board or committee. So what I was referring to, the arrangement that we have currently, from what I feel, is not necessarily meeting the expectation of the board. So I made clear, we had a conversation and I said, yeah, the Historical Commission, you don't have any allegiance to OPED, and OPED doesn't have allegiance or is in charge of Historical Commission. Historical Commission, per ordinance and Mass General Law, is an entity, a standalone entity. I believe that arrangement was set up and we can decide how to govern yourselves. You just tell me what direction we want to go and, how you want to organize and govern and structure that, we can, so that it can meet the needs. I know there is a desire and a request currently to put in a historical preservationist. There are different creative ways we can do that, whether if it's putting together a scope with our friends at the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission who have one on staff, identifying the amount of hours needed, and what the scope and specific objectives we expect, so that we're getting the service we need. There are consultants that do that level work, rather than having, bringing somebody in, and we don't know the amount. Right now, it feels like a lot of work to you guys now because you're volunteer board. You meet once a month and it feels like, but once someone's in doing 40 out, it might not be a lot. There might not be the amount of hours or work you needed for a 40-hour-a-week position, but we won't know that for sure until we start diving into the work and seeing what the need is in this community as far as historic preservation is concerned. But we can have a conversation about what specific historic preservation needs are, get a scope together and potentially see what we can leverage from grants and consultants that are out there that can help with specific work. But yeah, so how your body, your board, committee, you're responsible to each other. The only times you have real powers is when you're together in an open meeting. You make decisions together. How you want to arrange your governance to meet your needs. You guys have that conversation. I don't have to tell you how you want to do it. Have an open dialogue. Make your votes accordingly in the direction you want to go. And we'll do our best. There are logistical things, like, for example, you asked if you can go to the wisteria hearse. There are things like if there's an evening meeting and nobody's in the building, somebody's got to open the building. It's little logistical things, making sure there's adequate internet so folks can have access virtually and whatever. But, I think between now and a realistic goal, let's say a transition by July 1, we might be able to figure out those logistics, assuming the body wants to move in that direction. But yeah, as of right now, you talk about there's a difference between a surplus and available free cash. Those are two different revenue sources. But nevertheless, we can plan for it, but I could tell you right now, currently, it's just not a priority to add another position at this time for what you're looking for to do. But there are ways that we can do things differently to achieve the very goals that you want to achieve. It doesn't mean that your hands are tied and you can't do nothing. It's just in a matter of perspective and your willingness and ability to navigate those resources to be able to get the work done. So
I'm sorry if I made you feel disrespected. I like to have people feeling welcome in this context. Just a few things. So I'll stay out of just want to make just a few points, then we'll open it to other commissioner and we'll open it then to the public. Few comments. One thing that is important to remember is that we are an advisory board to you. And I think it would be important for you to really hear why we need a preservation specialist right now. The second thing is that I am extremely concerned because we have lost our building commissioner. So right now we're also without building commissioner. And I understand that he left just because we couldn't meet his raise in salary, which I'm so afraid about being just penny wise. The third thing.
That's not why he left, but go ahead.
The third thing, again, talking about creativity. And again, creativity should not be like the saying, necessity is a mother of invention. Creativity, again, and I've been privileged enough to be in institutions where there were means, and therefore creativity was used to achieve all we could achieve. I don't want to get into detail, but it's been obvious to a lot of people that the increase of value of our buildings has caused a very high new tax revenue. And because of that, the Historical Commission here, we should be able to foster that, to be able to assist more businesses that want to restore using historic tax credit and all of that. We should be able to better examine grants that are already in process, like Scott's Tower. And the museum, it's a very hard restoration. They need more money. And again, being penny wise and dollar foolish, a preservation specialist could bring so much money in grants. And that's very important.
Was that a question or?
No,
Oh,
that
okay.
was a statement.
So are we opening this to other members or the public?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
And it's hard to see hands up. I don't know if anybody has hands up or.
Just to let you know, so as far as the building commissioner's position concerned, and I'm sure there's a lot of rumors and why he left around there, and I won't entertain that. However, we do have candidates lined up, and we should have an appointed building commissioner actually very soon. So don't be too concerned. But just like you, I've been a little concerned, obviously, because it's such an important role, but very relieved to know that we have strong candidates potentially stepping into the role soon. So that's good.
Wonderful.
Any questions?
I think I have a couple of comments around the situation. I think there has been, I'm a volunteer here. I am not a vice chair. I just participate as a commissioner, and I have this sensation constantly that we are in a. You bring a lot. You brought a lot of the word, teamwork, creativity. How can we make this happen? This is the first time that I have this dialogue with the city. So this is new information for me. Like the other information that and all the things that I've been, the emails and the communication internally has been a little hostile, to be completely honest. And I think in that environment, it's not easy to be creative or to work as a team or to propose things to use the resources available. So I think number one, what I want to say is that the communication has been pretty bad. Second, I think our work throughout the months, years now, has been quiet and very efficient so far. If we eventually get a survey and send the people that we work with in the last 3 years, I will say that at least 60 to 70% of them are content with the result or with how we handle eventually things. So I'm very happy and proud of that work and that road. I'm still also puzzled by the fact that being volunteers has been reduced to just the meetings. We organize ourselves in the way that we have tasks that we do perform in the month. We're all professionals, full-time workers. We do our best to serve the city because we live here. We all own houses. We pay taxes. We elect mayors. So I just want to make sure that, if for me, once again, this is new information that there's an open dialogue. There's a path of communication. So yeah, I don't know. I think that open communication, clarity, good intentions, not hostile communication. It's important to keep working. And I think that's number one for us. I think we have no say in your choices of who wants to who is in the commission, but I think it's important to have a sense of welcome people in, kind of support each other down the road. And of course, what happens internally, it's up to us in terms of we can figure out how to organize ourselves better. We have been for a long time, and I think that becomes wary at parts because there's CPA, there's all the letters of recommendation for historic tax credits. There has been also the people consulting about chances and options about what they can get from the historical preservation, from the state, from the city. And I think thinking about the future in the next months, we have, of course, Olivia knows more than us what to do here, but we have two other members that we haven't had the chance to just go sit down and have an understanding of how can we incorporate them through the process, because it's as I once was a first timer here, and nobody guided me to anything for a year.
That's usually out there in a lot of different
that's
positions.
not supposed to be.
I know.
Because we're all volunteers once again. I think we put our time here. We just need some.
There's no blueprint,
There's right
so
one.
it can be challenging.
There's right one about that. You have our support for that. There's right a blueprint so we can all feel welcome, part of this, incorporating the communications, be transparent on things. I never seen a commission, because I watch other meetings and I respect a bunch of them, but I think we don't have an agenda. There's no political game here. We don't have interest in power, or we just want to serve around preservation. and historical preservation. And so, yeah, I mean, this is my contribution here. I wish there was another circumstance where we can have this dialogue in a more constructive way, as you mentioned before.
Yep. And I think we've had several dialogues. I remember when I first stepped in, there wasn't anybody, it was this need for bodies. We got you bodies. And yeah, although the historical commission didn't necessarily, they're my appointees, I invited the chair to sit down with me, and we reviewed the candidates. And the only one that we didn't get an opportunity to sit down and talk to is about Olivia, but I wanted to make sure that you weren't in a position where you were limited in membership. So I wanted to get you, and besides 20 years, I couldn't say no to that. But you're right. The other thing too about the hostility, I agree with you on that too. I think leadership is important, and we need to be very mindful in how we organize and put in as chair. And because the chairperson is the point person that filters information between the bodies, and you have to make sure that your, words, how we describe things and what we use as words matter from any leader, even from me as mayor. And so when you're taking on a leadership role like that, you have to be a leader and very proactive in how you navigate the environment, because it's not like in a business where you can operate from the top down and say, in government, we rely heavily on cooperation.
But that's how I felt, Mayor. We had a wonderful leadership with Paula in the last year and a half, 2 years now.
No, 1 year.
1 year, sorry. I think I'm not pointing fingers here. So I'm just saying.
You referenced emails, and the only emails I read with hostility.
Yes, I
is by the chair. Now, I don't want to.
But you are pointing fingers there. I will say that there has been. I said that there's a feeling. I'm not bringing this is not a meeting to come out and bring the emails. And, there's a sensation as people that were not involved in that part of the dialogue, that there has been hostility, both coming from the whole.
But again, this is not productive, Luis. We're.
I'm just responding.
I have my hand raised at some point. Just I don't know who's acknowledging that they're
just to wrap up the idea that at the end of the day, my point with this is not to tell you, of course, as a mayor, what to do, or it's just there has been this. We haven't feel like that this has been a democratic balance situation, and I think that can be my impression. I can be wrong. But I think that's for me a very important piece.
What part though?
I mean,
because everything
Mr. Mayor,
from the bottom up.
I'm sorry, we have to have some order. So when you're done.
I'm done.
Okay, and Commissioner Aubrey has been having her hands up forever, so why don't I give her the word?
I think I just want to sort of piggyback on some of this. And, I want to be mindful that a lot of this sort of feels like it's been building up for those of us who've been on the commission now for a couple of years and were possibly appointed by the previous mayor. I know I was appointed right as COVID had shut everything down. So a lot of the sort of normal processes that would have assisted me as a new member on the commission in 2020 were kind of bypassed. But I was into the commission and immediately was sent some documents about the materials that would be helpful for me to understand some of the open meeting laws, what is certified local government, what is mass historic, what does it mean versus historic preservation versus the historic commission, et cetera, et cetera. And as you know, we did have Ben Murphy from OPED, who was the point person essentially from the city's perspective. And my impression of his role was that he was the person that we could rely on to have the answer and or the direct person to reach out to get that question answered. So there wasn't this, wait, who do we go to kind of thing. And we know that Ben then left and that position was not refilled. We also are aware that almost immediately after Mayor Garcia was elected, the tone of the Historic Commission meetings shifted rather dramatically to a much bigger discussion that almost none of us saw coming, which was to whether to combine the Historic Commission and the Preservation Trust group, or sorry, the local historic district together. And I have to admit that I felt sort of sideswiped. I wasn't sure why this suddenly became an enormous focus of our meetings. It coincided with Aaron Vega's attendance to those meetings. And so certainly there seemed to be a shift that we spend the majority of our time talking about that versus the role of the Historic Commission, which is to review documents, be a resource for people in the community, people who are interested in buying buildings in this city to hopefully keep the historical components intact. However, over the last year, we also lost our chair and our vice chair who resigned, and we gladly voted Paula Ferrario into.
You didn't lose your vice chair. Your vice chair became chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Francis was the vice chair at one point. I apologize. Regardless, what I'd like to just sort of try to succinctly say is that, you know, part of that shift of the last couple of years, and in particular the last year, has just sort of felt like no matter what we do on this commission, feels like there's always somebody either second guessing, doubting, redirecting, undermining, gossiping, spreading misinformation, or just flagrantly ignoring our role within the city. And it's baffling to me. You like it has been mentioned multiple times, we are volunteers. We sought out our interest in preservation. Whatever it was that brought us to the Historic Commission, we ultimately got appointed. We are here on our own time. We have an interest. We are doing the best we can to follow the charter and the laws within the certified local government. And yet there's always been this feeling that we're not doing enough, or it doesn't matter what you guys do because this department's going to do what they're going to do. And they're not talking to those people and when again, the Historic Commission is one small component of how this city should be operating. And the transparency and, you know, the idea that business doesn't want to come to Holyoke because of the Historic Commission is just, that's a lie. That's a lie. And it's something I think people like to say just to make themselves feel better. My point being that if we could get rid of all the mishigas and all the drama, we could actually focus on the work that we're doing. And I just like to end by saying that recently I was asked and agreed to attend, be the Historic Commission's representative to the CPA. And I will tell you, the feel of those meetings, completely different. Very well organized, succinct. Nobody's getting their heads chopped off for voicing an opinion. Guess what? They were able to hire somebody for the CPA process. I didn't hear any feedback about that being a problem. It's a completely different vibe over there. And I'm guessing part of that has to do with that they probably don't feel like they're under the gun all the time. So, you know, give us a chance to show the city that we know what we're doing and that we're capable, and that by bringing in Joseph and Lisbeth and now Olivia with her expertise, that we can become a functioning Historic Commission. Because basically, since I've been on this, it's been back and forth and back and forth. So that's my I'm stepping off said soapbox.
Okay, and that's important. So, and Elan, I'm glad you voiced the frustration. I'd like to bring it back that, and I think it was necessary for you. I think, again, this is not the point of the meeting, but, and again, we achieved an incredible amount. We changed ordinances and did a lot. But, and the one thing I want to talk to you in private at a point is partially what I would like to do is see you relating to us as your advisory board. Because, you know, one thing, you know, you did not ask us anything before allocating $2 million to the Victory Theater. And I would have so appreciated that. And we're not talking about that. But I'm making that as an example because that's the thing that you come to us for. before you make such a big decision, because I think it could have been even better. We all want to see the Victory Theater succeed. But so, and partially, you know, every time I saw you coming here, I have to control myself because you're telling us what we should do and we know what to do, but you never come to us with questions or advisory questions. And I really would love to see that change in this coming year.
What I'm hearing a lot is assumptions, Madam Chair. First of all, the Victory Theater, there was a commitment through the process. There is still a process they need to go through for ARPA, similar to the last time around. My commitment to the project was to support them and work together with my community. You got to read the Mass Live article. The Western Mass News didn't really pick it up the way that I read my paper when I did that press conference. That's number one. The conversation about consolidation happened before I got here. It came to me when I got here. Hey, look, something about the former chair, and the former chair went and was. I think there was some concerns about the chair having conversations and not bringing that information back to the board. So there was a communication issue. When I say how you govern yourselves and who you pick as leaders, that's what I mean. And when you mentioned CPA, how they run differently, that board figured out how they wanted to, when you needed more bodies, I don't recall ever telling this commission what to do, what to think, how to feel about anything. All I heard was, hey, look, we need more members. And I even included, not the whole body, but I included the chair, and how the chair filters information back is up to the chair. Like I'm sitting here and I'm listening to the comments being made toward me, like if I'm somehow responsible for the turbulence that is going on with this body. Now, you guys as a board, I appoint board members. I shouldn't have to be coming to board meetings, untangling these knots. You guys should be meeting, discussing, and talking about how you want to take care of the structural governance part, the bureaucracy stuff, so that you can get to the stuff that really matters. And you're right, you did accomplish a lot within the last year. So it's not like you didn't do anything, or you were undermined, or you were told this. And I mean, I never told you guys anything about, you know, how you should vote and think about this particular issue or whatever the case. The assumptions just got thrown at me. But instead, what I saw is nothing but progress. You guys did a lot. You even went and did and I disagreed with the demolition extension delay, but I didn't veto it. I didn't come here and tell you, don't do it, do it. Yeah, I drafted a letter, but you guys voted as you should have, and you did what you did. That's the community working together, making decisions on how they want their direction the city to go. And I supported that, whether if I agreed with it or not. And to sit here and tell me and make these comments in a public meeting that I'm undermining, that I'm, you know, if there's turmoil here, is because the board, you guys got to like work together and figure out how to put whatever happened before you guys. Because I think there was only about 2 or 3 of you left. I just gave you 3 new members. So you technically 4 now. You technically have a brand new board. And for that, a year later to still be a problem, that tells me that something's going on here. Now,
So
you
can
know,
I?
again,
can I
this is not unique to the historical commission. Sorry, Aubrey. Yeah, absolutely. This is not unique to you guys. So this is a local government thing when new people, volunteers come onto boards. I've seen it with conservation commissions. I've seen it with planning boards in other communities, as well as historical commissions, where people come in and feel that way. Like, you know, there's no blueprint and what I should do. What should I do? I need to vote. I didn't know. Nobody told me there was a law or this, or, you know, what does the mayor or the select board in smaller towns want to do? Or, oh, wait, they made a decision, didn't consult us. How dare they? Even though they have the power and authority to, they don't have to. But to your point, I'm with you. It's good to work with your community to get that feedback, which we will. You'll have an opportunity to. So I don't know if you had a previous meeting grieving about me not consulting the commission because of a $2 million commitment I made through the process. You just
Okay, so, and.
So
and
I guess what I'm saying is if you
Fine.
felt that way, you
Mhm.
felt that way for no reason because that wasn't even the situation of the case, is what I'm saying. So as a board, I think we need to be sure that we're interpreting information and that we're filtering that information correctly so that you can have an honest discussion as a board and make solid decisions on what direction you want to go to address issues. If, you know, whatever happened before Paula with the former chair, I remember when I first came in, there was a lot of concern about a lot of things. I met with each member to understand what was going on. And I think every member can, I'm hoping that you'll back me up and say we had a very open and dialogue about my, you know, expectations and, you know, trying to feel where the concern or the issues might be, trying to understand where these issues are deriving from, for people to feel the way that Aubrey just explained, the way that Mr. Salazar just explained, so that I can untangle that knot and you can move forward and focus on what's important.
Okay, so a
objectives.
couple of things. I hate that you're feeling defensive now, because when people start feeling defensive, we don't get anywhere. 3 things.
But
I
you're
don't
making
want,
it that
so we're an advisory board. We're here to advise you and protect you. And we're not talking about the victory now, but I feel we can help you and protect you on those decisions. 1. 2, CPA, great. They have a paid assistant. They have an account. I don't think, I think people are venting. I think this board works really well together. What we'll be talking about from now on is funding and proper staff. And it's true, we are ambitious. And it's true at this moment, you appointed member, and it's not fine to find a member, and you've done that. We are an ambitious board. We want to do what's the best for the city. We want to be of help to you. So that's why we're asking for this position. But I don't want in any way to think that, I think we're working very well as commissioners at this point. We are going towards an optimal situation. I think we are guilty of perfectionism and ambition, maybe, which are not bad things. Again, I've seen too many times people saying, and after working at a state school for many years, many times I said, I did the best I could, and it wasn't very good. I think, we're striving towards being well, but I don't want you to leave this meeting thinking I was attacked. This meeting was to point out, and the real issue here is we desperately need that position. And we want to be in a location that's optimal for us and protect the city. I think you made a statement that's very good, that you're going to help with that. And that is wonderful.
Yeah, the will of the body.
As you can. And then we go further with our meeting discussing how to achieve what we need, but and of course have the public speaking. But in any, I think people might still need to vent, but actually this is a functioning commission and our results prove it. And
One of my favorite saying,
I'd just like to say one thing, that my comments were not directed specifically towards you, Mayor. It's the general feeling coming from the city in general. It was not specifically to you. Many of us were on this commission prior to your coming into office.
I apologize.
And I agree wholeheartedly with your point. Why are we still having these same conversations? We're functioning grown adults who can follow directions and read the rules. We have a common goal and purpose. So, I agree, Paula, wholeheartedly. Enough with all this subtext. Let's get the work done. And just like to finalize it by saying we could get our work done even more efficiently and really show the city what we're capable of in terms of bringing businesses in and helping people see the value of the city. And that should be our job alone. So thank you.
So Madam Chair, there's 3 points the first thing I want to say, one of my favorite sayings is that a donkey is a horse put together by a committee. And so it's never perfect. You have different personalities sitting around this table. And we each individually have an expectation of how we think things should be done. And because you have to function as one body, you guys, need to work together to figure out, how do we get through. And then, sometimes the product is not perfect, but the product was achieved through consensus, you guys working together, and you got that. The other thing I wanted to address too, the CPA, that's number 2. The CPA staffer, part-timer, is funded through the CPA funds. So they have a source, and they're exactly that, part-time admin technical support. No difference than the support that you're getting currently. And then number 3, what was the number 3? You mentioned something up, Aubrey, that gave me a number 3 point, and it's losing me. But I guess the bottom line is it's oh, I got it. So the number 3 thing is the Historical Commission. So you guys know, and again, you guys talk about this. You don't need me to tell you what way you're to do or whatever, and you make a decision. But just know that, the Historical Commission is a standalone organization through the city of Holyoke, and OPED is not. There's nothing that marries you guys together. There was an arrangement made to help navigate and meet the needs of the commission, right? That was a decision made at the time to, hey, we need staff. All right, well, let's do this for whatever reason. And that's what it is. And as far as location, you're not married to the space either. You can meet, if the council chamber is not being used, you can meet there, or wherever you're publicly posting it on your agenda is, certainly we want to make sure it stays within municipal buildings, not in your living rooms or anything like that. But that you have that discussion and how you want to arrange yourselves, and that you vote on it together, and whatever the vote is, we'll try to meet that accordingly. So that way you can just purely focus on, because I remember, when I came in, it was bodies. We got the bodies. Then there were some other issues. I met with the individual members, and then I think I even tried to do a informal mediation type. I thought everything was all set until the last 2 months or so. And so here we are now. If you think that however you want to structure this, I'm hoping that we can get you to a point where you now can focus on what it is that you want to do, which is projects, historic preservations, working with folks. And I don't think anybody, at least I never said that you guys are stopping growth. I don't think any member in the community is necessarily saying that. There's nothing that, but I know that the feeling that you have now, I can tell you just my time working at the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, and even as town administrator in Blandford, it's always the same feeling, specifically from those 3 bodies: Historical, Conservation Commission, and planning boards. No one cares about us. No one supports us. No one cares about our opinion. And that's not really, that's not, it shouldn't feel that way, but instead, we solve those issues by communicating more, being more transparent. I'm committed to working from the bottom up and middle out. That's my only strategy. I'm not a top-down guy at all. The only time I step in is when there's a not allowing things to function the way it needs to. I try to understand what that knot is, come up with a potential solution. Hopefully we can do resolution with the existing, but if we have to pivot in areas, we have to. And certainly more than happy to move in that direction. As far as the requests, I think that there is a real opportunity we can engage consultants to help our needs as needed, opposed to, somebody here all the time doing, so, I think there's a way here. There's a way we can make it all work. But we just gotta get aligned. Everyone needs to get on the same page. If we're not all on the same page, there's feelings, perspectives, there's blame, there's rumors, we got to get aligned as an organization here. Once we're aligned, that's when the magic really starts to happen.
So if you think, Mr. Mayor, I just want to remind you that Blandford has one building on the state registry. Holyoke almost has 200. Plus we have 200 more mills to take care of.
Yeah, but why are you bringing up Blandford?
Because you say in Blandford, I always heard the and I think if in Blandford, if I had your job and the historical commission say we don't get enough
So
stuff,
that's what I mean by assumptions.
there's
Madam
one
Chair.
building. You said it in Blandford.
What I said was that when I was at Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, including my time at Blandford, there are
Okay.
many cities and towns. And it's
What-
always those three bodies that feel like no one cares about them, that feel like, there's always this, oh, this person's making decisions, didn't consult us. That's normal.
That's clear, thank you. But it is important to know that it's not a feeling. It's not that we're feeling neglected. Again, and we are a regulatory board and we're making a recommendation.
Chris,
Are
Does
there
everybody
any-
feel that way?
Chris,
Everybody
speak.
feels that way?
Chris Garcia wants to speak.
Chris?
Oh,
do you-
Chris, yes,
Chris, is that how you feel? Elizabeth?
you're muted.
No, I don't feel that way at all.
Oh, you don't feel that. Okay.
It's you're muted.
Chris?
We have just spent, I think, an excessive amount of time with this topic yet again. Through various meetings. And I'm just going to very touch with the other commissioners. It is up to us now. We have the hands, we have the power. I think we just need to progress with this. And it's like we keep beating a dead horse with this going over and over and over. Let's put this to rest. Let's show the city what we have as a historical commission. We will find other avenues. If we need grants to hire our own people, what have you, let's make it happen with our board.
Excellent. Can we close the discussion?
Yes.
Is anybody from the public, does anybody from the public want to make any comments? Excellent.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Let me just make a very brief comment, which I think will find everybody's agreement. I was on the Historical Commission in the early 90s when Wisteria Hearst was actually under Mayor Marty Dunn, boarded up and up for sale. And the reason that it was up for sale was because of disunity between the Historical Commission and city, and on the other hand, the Friends of the area. It was such a.
So everybody is online here is just excited. Because people can't hear.
Okay. So there was a lot of antagonism between the Friends of Wisteria Hearst, who had quite a bit of money and had supported Wisteria Hearst for quite a long time, but because of personal conflicts, the situation was such that the Friends were not willing to continue to put money into it.
And Ian, this is very important. Can you get a little closer to the microphone? Because I want to make sure it's.
And the city didn't have the money at the time to support Wisteria Hearst. So because of the conflict, it was almost to the point that Wisteria Hearst would have been sold and most likely would have been bought by a funeral home. Quite ironic. Anyway, we managed to put together a commission that was put together with 3 people from the city and the Historical Commission, 3 people from the Friends, 1 additional person that was a so-called neutral person, and the committee of 7 managed to iron out those difficulties. And the solutions were found by getting outside grants and getting money and making the Friends willing to re-engage, and Wisteria was saved. And I think that was a tremendously good decision that we made at the time. It was difficult, but cooperation works. And I think it has been a wonderful thing for the city of Holyoke that happened. And we should take that as an example. We can do it again. This happened by now for almost 30 years ago. And it has borne fruit ever since. And I think Holyoke has so much value in its historical assets in terms of buildings that are not used to their full potential. I've been on a number of committees over the last 30, almost 40 years now that we've been in the city. We've made wonderful plans. Most of them, unfortunately, ended up on the shelf somewhere rather than being implemented. And with a lot more cooperation of all the people who really have Holyoke at their heart, who want to work for it, it should be possible, and it will be possible if we manage to work together and make it happen.
Thank you. That's a great story. And also thank you. I know you are a member of the board of the Preservation Trust, and you're doing incredible work. So thank you.
Okay.
And so please, I know I see a lot of people here, and I'm gonna ask you if you're interested in continue helping us, as we will be seeking a preservation specialist and possible funding and grants. Just email me or Chris. Our email is on the website. Peter Palombello gave me a great idea. I'll start a letter of Friends of the Historical Commission again. And we'll be working, so please just be a presence in the city. So we can move on. All right, so we are going to item 5, part-time preservation specialist position for the Historical Commission. And I think, you know, we need to start making a list of possible grant, connecting with Massachusetts, Massachusetts Historic Trust, see what grants are available. Luis, could you make a video for us to promote it?
I certainly can do that.
Great. And we can also, so kind of go in public, and also we'll have to check with the city solicitor how to accept funding and have our own trust and start working on that.
Mhm.
And of course, also we do have a line item in the budget. So it might not be $25,000, but I think it's worth to see if we can go in front of the finance committee at city council to get some money.
Chair.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, so I don't know at what point you have your discussion and how you want to arrange yourselves as of whether or not you're gonna keep getting staff support from OPED, or if we're divorcing OPED. I'd love to see the city departments collaborate and work together and stay together. But if you choose to go a different route, that's fine too. Whatever direction you choose, we're going to be kicking off our budget process very soon with the different departments to if there is a particular expense need, I'll make sure that well, if you're going through OPED, you'll just work with OPED. But if you're divorcing, I'll work with the chair and you'll get that form to complete for your expense needs. Just to let you know, departments, they'll give me, this much, and we always kind of have to keep people focused and narrowed. But if there are like expenses needed, like if you do divorce OPED, you're going to need, some sort of expense line item to be sure that you're appropriately, I don't know, whatever it is you got to do, get stamps or, I don't think you need to because we have stamp. Again, those are more the logistical things we got to work out. If you can put in the requests for the staffer, I'm letting you know ahead of time that in the mayor's version of the budget, it'll be cut, so it won't make it to the council. But I just want to communicate that clearly so that you're not beating around the bush or guessing woulda, shoulda. But as far as the process is concerned, if there is an actual expense line, maybe there's trainings. I heard a little bit about if there are trainings at the state level here where we can send members, I'd love to send you guys and meet with other historic commission members. If there's a fee associated, I want to know what it is, and I can be sure to budget for that so you guys can have access to that. But as far, again, you're talking about budget needs. You'll get a form. You'll fill out the form accordingly to the instructions. You'll meet with the mayor as well as our auditor. We'll go over your requests and we'll fine tune it. Maybe we won't touch it at all, depending on what your requests are. And then from there, it goes to the finance committee and then it goes to the rest of the stuff. But since you're talking about budgets and I just want to let you know that what the process is. And depending on what's going to happen here, it's going to determine greatly, the outcome of how we can meet your needs.
Yeah, well, there's no decision made tonight, and we're gonna move very carefully. We have, we also are exploring moving to the planning department because we are a regulatory board. And so we are putting in probably if the commission votes tonight as a possibility to ask to be on the, I already talked with the planning board chair to be put on the agenda for the next planning department meeting.
So I don't know what that means, going with.
So this is the office, we're currently under the umbrella of the Office of Economic Planning and Development.
Yep. Okay.
We could be under the umbrella of the planning department, which makes a lot more sense because we are a regulatory board.
Yeah, but there's no planning department.
Yes, of course there is.
This is the planning department. It's Office of
It's
Planning.
divided in two parts. There's the Department of Planning and the Office of Economic Planning and Development. And
so this is important, Paula. I'm not trying to.
It's two set of staff, but again, Mr. Mayor, let's not talk about this in the meeting. We're doing our.
This is important because I don't want misinformation.
We have gone long enough, and at this point, please.
This is the toxicity that people refer to when we're talking about toxicity.
So what the point is, we're going to explore a series of departments and we're moving carefully. So don't expect.
I just want to make sure that you guys have accurate information. That's all. I'm not trying to undermine you here.
Absolutely. Don't worry. So far, we've gone so far based on accurate information. So please.
Paula and members of the board.
This is not good. This is really not good.
Paula, you're making the perception look like it's not good when all we're doing is making sure that what you're filtering to the board is accurate.
Yes, and it will be. So for now, just know there's no decision on what we're going to do now. We're going to be careful. We're going to explore where we will be going, and that's where we are. And we have gone too long on this point.
But Paula.
We don't worry, we have not done anything not according to rule or without information. So
Paula, is this how you manage is because I don't go to your meetings. Is this how the meetings are every time?
We don't have people, we have closed this point, Mr. Mayor. I'm just asking you to be respectful.
This doesn't look good, Paula. I'm just letting you know right now. I'm the mayor of the city of Holyoke, trying to address the board to be sure that you guys have the information you need, the direction and whatnot, so that you can move forward and make appropriate decisions.
Thank you. We will. We will.
But you just said that there's a planning department and
Yes.
that's not accurate.
Okay,
Just saying.
all right.
I make a motion that we move to point 6 CPA.
Yes. So let me share screen.
I need it seconded.
Can we have the motion second?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
The motion is to go to item 6 CPA. Commissioner Aubrey. Commissioner Aubrey?
Sorry, this coming week and next week, Wednesday, I believe our meeting is at 6 o'clock, and then on the
We're
18th.
roll call,
We're,
Ilana.
What?
Ilana, we're making a motion to go to point 6.
Oh, okay.
We're voting, Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes,
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauthier,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizell, and the chair votes yes.
so, as I was saying, sorry about that, we have scheduled a review of the CPA requests. So there are two different sections. One is for historical and the other is for outdoor space. And I honestly can't remember which one is first. But they are happening this Wednesday at 6 and next Wednesday, the 18th at 6. It potentially can be a fairly lengthy process. It's somewhat similar for those who have had any experience with requests for reprocurement in terms of use of numbers to sort of scale different things. We obviously want people to know about these meetings. And, you know, I think just in general, CPA getting the word out more about the funds available, because it's a little sad, to be honest, sitting on the CPA committee, seeing how much money there really is and how few people are taking advantage of it. So I'm sincerely hopeful that some of the folks that have been coming to the meetings, Peter, you know, that hopefully things will be able to move forward with regard to some of the projects that have been in the works for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the update for now. One question I did have, Paula, just looking at, I think it was December's meeting, was to make sure letters are due on the 15th. I think our business will be done slightly after that. So the approval of letters for tax credit, that's due the 15th of January. Is that correct? Or is it the one?
I don't know. I sent them all 2 months ago, so they're all in, I think.
Okay, and then the ones that we had to notarize?
Which one are you referring to?
I'm not sure. There was one that we all had to go down to City Hall.
Oh, no, that's a preservation restriction.
Oh,
agreement.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the updates for now.
Yeah. So what I have on the agenda is that we have a preservation restriction agreement for Girls Inc. That the city
That's number
solicitors.
7. Are we done with number 6 then?
No, this is number 6.
Oh, okay. Number 7 says.
Oh, okay. Okay, it was number, I'm sorry, it's part of CPA. It's part of CPA. But
Okay.
since
On
the agenda,
it says.
yes, I didn't catch it. Thank you. So, so it was 7 was, but the two coming item are part of CPA. And it's a preservation restriction agreement for the Girls Inc. Building. And so one of the things that we had talked about in the past, if we get a preservation specialist, that we could start negotiating the preservation restriction directly with the project's applicants. But this preservation restriction agreement is very complicated. And again, we don't have the support or the specialist to help look at it. It's most of the municipality I looked at that in fact do their own preservation restriction agreement with applicant for CPA, have a preservation specialist on board. So I would say that for now we stay as we did in past year, the Mass Historic handles them. And I see, does everybody understand what the preservation restriction agreement is on the commission?
Yes.
Excellent. So I'm looking for feedback here on what you think.
Sorry, I just want to make sure, Elizabeth, I mean, you're relatively new and, this is as good an opportunity as any. If you, have any questions, really, this is a good opportunity to say, wait, I'm not sure.
I'm just kind of trying to follow along for now. I'm gonna have lots and lots of questions, and I'm sure everybody's gonna disagree with a lot of my opinions, but it's okay for now. Follow along.
Okay, great. Just want to double check.
So a preservation restriction agreement also for the public, it's an agreement that goes with the deed and establish what can be done, physically done to the building.
So in the case of the Garcia project, the problem was that was up to us to decide the parameters of that, since they were not in the registrar really.
Well, basically, we can start. So as you see, we got the preservation and attorney Degman just send me the preservation restriction agreement. It's connected to the project itself. So we don't have the project at the moment, but basically it would be for us to look at the project, look what has been done so far, and start negotiating back and forth with the Girls Inc. Attorneys. And again, we want to make sure the CPA funding is allocated properly and according to rule. And this is a service the Mass Historic allows for.
And you're saying that you want Mass Historic to deal with this?
My inclination is that we're probably better off because, and if we have to do it, again, we probably need an outside consultant. We need a subcommittee. We need the time. It's going to be months. Mass Historic is month, but it takes a very long time. We don't have to decide tonight. We can give it some thought.
Yeah, well, we need basically to find a specialist on this matter, kind of budget him, have a scope of work, and then get an idea of how much it's going to cost, propose that, and then eventually, if that doesn't work, just do what we do.
One of the things that, again, I mentioned this, I think it was in the December meeting. We did great in feedback regarding the certified local government report. The only criticism that we got is that we don't have an architect and a lawyer on the board. And those are the two specialties that we need partially to negotiate a PNS or have a preservation specialist because
Or a consultant.
as a consultant, Because again, that's when it's very important, because the city attorney is the city attorney. But again, it would be best to have a lawyer on the commission that directly deals with it. So, so that's the situation.
So what are our options?
Well, there's no rush. But, and, you know, and again, I encourage everybody to do more research and look, you know, again, because of, there is, we don't have anybody on the city staff that is a preservation expert. And I'm a real estate agent, so I can explain a contract. Just because of my activism and my study, I know some about historical preservation and architecture, but this requires, to do it right, requires a higher level, and that is why Mass Historic offer the service.
Should do Mass Historic then.
Then we reach out to them.
Yeah.
We don't, CPA does. We can tell CPA to send this preservation restriction to Mass Historic.
Okay, but do we need to document anything of that nature, or, I mean, just at least start the process rolling?
So far, you know, every building
Mm-hmm.
that will receive CPF funding that have gone through the process in Holyoke, in order to get the funding, has to sign a preservation restriction.
Right, well, right,
So
right.
far, they all been looked at by Mass Historic.
Okay,
Recently, there has been talk that we would do it.
correct, right.
Uh,
But because we don't have the staff or the experience.
We don't have a lawyer on the commission, we don't have an architect, and we don't have a preservation specialist. And that is when it's a perfect scenario for Mass Historic to step in and take care of this.
Okay,
Okay, let's move forward.
Yes. Blue Sky Tower, let me share screen. All right. Okay. So I wrote, as you know, Chris and I went to the Chicopee Historical Commission. Thank you for coming to the Chicopee Historical Commission meeting, and I wrote the letter and sent it. And this is a letter we got confirmation of receipt. And might be good if anybody can to go to their meeting too, to see what happened. But the letter has been acknowledged and will be read. And it was all done. I just was able to send it directly, and I got confirmation. I think their meeting will be on the 13th. Let me double check.
I think it's tomorrow, Paula, isn't it?
No, they're normally Tuesday.
Yeah,
And when I got the response back, let me see. Oh yeah, no, January 10th, correct. At 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Yeah. So one thing that is important, what's his name? Christopher Lucas, who's been wonderful through the process. They said they will rise a balloon for us. We need to do, I haven't been very successful at getting Google poll done through staff. So we need a person on the commission that would do our Google poll. Can you do it, Luis? Because you're good at that.
Okay.
So we'll need, when we know, Christopher Lucas said he will get back to us after the meeting. And let's see, and we'll need a Google poll done within a day to respond to when we can have the balloon up.
For tomorrow?
No. They will contact me
Okay. Got it.
and say, we can raise the balloon during this week.
Great.
On the day, we'll need to, yeah.
So one of us needs to attend this meeting tomorrow, correct?
It might be a good thing.
Okay,
Again, we're all volunteer and, we're doing a lot, so, but it might be a good thing.
okay.
I'm not available tomorrow, sorry.
I will try to attend on my way home, since it's
That
in.
would be great.
Okay.
Moving to Scott's Tower. The final notice, the review for the wetlands. We got the letter. Alicia Zoller was really good, send it on December 20th. This has to do, Scott's Tower, it's extremely complicated because there are wetlands on it. And because of Section 106 of the National Preservation Act, we are also calling question to make sure that, whenever there's a project that includes wetlands. I need to go and get part 3 and 6 of the project to make sure whether we already review part regarding the new road and burying the cables. I will get the document, but one thing I would love to do, I am the only person who has walked the site. And I had a tour with Yoni and another conservation people. And I would love maybe this week to do a site visit and bring a few commissioners over to see the site. And maybe we can schedule a date right now for a walk. It's about an hour.
Currently closed to the public?
What?
Is it currently closed to the public?
No.
It's open?
Yeah. Well, technically, the part that is being developed is closed. But, I walked through with Yoni and, we're doing the work of the commission. So, I can do a morning walk and when we're doing that walk, we may not discuss the project or anything, but it's a site visit. And I feel it will give everybody a good sense of what is there.
I wouldn't be able to do anything this week. Possibly next week we could, but no way this week would work.
I need to turn in comments on the 17th.
Yeah.
And I can go and do a tour, turn in the comments, and maybe I'll do a video for the commission to see.
I know, I have Monday off because it's Martin Luther King, holiday, so.
Perfect. What,
That's a possibility for others. I'm flexible with time for the most part.
yeah, Monday is the 16th, so it gives me just a few hours to write comments. How
I'm
about the-
available, I'm available earlier in the weekend, but I don't know. This is something we want to do in the meeting or follow up afterwards, but are there any other possible times that people can throw out between now and the 17th or the 16th?
Possibly in the morning on a weekend. I don't know if that would work with anyone.
Yes, that would work for me.
So maybe Saturday the 14th?
Saturday, the 14th, earlier the better.
Oh,
All right, I'm not getting up before the sun comes up,
I
sorry.
didn't
guys.
say all that.
how's
I know
10?
It's a really beautiful, but no.
9:30, 10? Is it too
That
early?
works for me.
Amanda?
That's fine for me.
9:30.
On the
That will be
14th.
fun.
Okay,
And Scott's Tower excursion. At 9:30 a.m. Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you, guys.
thank you.
And we can move on. Report from commissioner attending other boards and committee meetings.
I sort of gave an update on the CPA. Unfortunately, my Wi-Fi connection was horrible last Thursday when I tried to attend the tourism advisory committee. It sounds as though, I tried getting on multiple times and kept getting booted off my phone and my computer. So my apologies, but and unfortunately that meeting is not recorded. So when I followed up with Marie afterwards, she said it sounded like they primarily focused on the 150th anniversary, planning moving forward with that. But I will try to follow up a little bit more to find out more of what I may have missed.
Excellent. Olivia, since you are, would you like to give us a report on the 150 years of Holyoke? I don't want to put you on the spot, but
I think there should be a presence, the Historical Commission should have a presence at the meetings. I don't know that anyone is able to come, is it the backup?
Is that separate than the tourism?
yeah, no, we were just asking a report on what's going on.
Oh, there's a lot. There's quite a lot. Look on exploreholyoke.com and go to 150th. And there's some pages that need to be populated. They aren't complete yet, but everyone who comes up with an idea is asked to follow through with the idea. So if you have something that you want to do, like a pie eating contest or something fun like that, then you have to follow through with that. So I'll be better prepared next time.
Great. So, but we can consider you the person that will give us a report on that.
Okay, I'm not able to go to all the meetings.
Okay.
I'm on the gala committee,
Mhm.
and so we have yet to meet. We're meeting this Friday.
So can I just ask Olivia, when you were saying somebody from the commission should be on which, what are you suggesting? So I guess what I'm wondering is the 150th anniversary is a separate group than the tourism advisory committee, is what you're saying?
It's out of separate. Okay. Yes, it is separate. It's out of, it comes out of Aaron's office. So the postings and the minutes and the emails come out of
Right,
Planning
but
and
that's for the
Economic Development.
tourism. I'm already on the tourism advisory committee is my point.
So,
That's why I'm asking, is there another committee?
Yes.
yes,
there's another
yes,
board,
there is
yeah.
another committee. Yes, lots of committees. There's finance, there's sponsorship, there's communications, there's gala, there's time capsules.
Well, perhaps there's an opportunity, maybe at the next meeting, we can talk about whether, what kind of involvement the Historic Commission would be, and then determine, whether somebody should be on that committee.
Sure. Mm-hmm,
So we'll just add that to the next agenda.
sure.
Yes, and that's, so we have covered number 11 on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So, new business, looks like we may have enough people to elect a new secretary if you, Chris, are done with the double title, are tired of your double title.
Yes, I am. Yes,
And because it's an important item, I can put it on next meeting agenda,
okay,
and we can vote on that.
okay,
As you know, for new commissioner, Lisbeth and Joseph, Olivia has been on commission for many time, but Jennifer sent notice for classes on open meeting law.
mhm,
And I would say for you guys, I don't know if I can, but the will of the chair to actually make it mandatory for new members. And they're free, and you should really attend one of those classes. Is very, very important.
I've already signed up.
You signed up, Chris?
Yeah, for another one, yes.
But you took it last year.
Refresher course.
There's also
Wonderful.
another one that we also got an email from somebody else in City Hall, Kelly Curran.
Yes, Kelly Curran, who is the Human Resources Director, but I didn't know if you got it because the recipients were blocked.
I got it.
Mm-hmm,
I've already
So-
signed up. Oh,
good.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Lisbeth. So that's very important. We got wonderful thank you letters from all the people that we wrote tax credit letter for, complimenting us on our professionality, and now the letters are pointed and meaningful. So that was really wonderful. And I think for new business, that's all.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to catch up on some of the past 3 years. So I would find the minutes of the board, of the commission on the
It's all on the website.
on the website?
Yeah.
Yeah, except for
all-
the last November and December.
Well,
How
November
are
and
you gonna
December and October,
correct
yep,
those?
uploaded, and there might be a couple of missing spots, but everything is there.
Okay. Okay,
So please do, and if you have questions.
Yeah.
All business. I got the card for Damien Code. I found the card with a ionic column. I thought was nice, which I wrote. The Historic Commission would like to thank you for your work in Holyoke over the years. Your knowledge of ordinances and building was always impressive and very valuable to us. Your chairing of the preservation of the property preservation group has left a permanent positive mark in many neighborhoods. Best wishes and luck in the future.
Perfect.
And I was hoping that everybody was here, but I'll just sign it the commission, or maybe we can.
Sign at the
sign
commission.
it- The commission, you think?
Yes,
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, perfect. There's still mistakes on the website, which I hope they will be corrected. Let Let me see. At what time is it? Yeah, we're doing okay. Pa, pa, pa. Okay. So wonderful. So let's see. So some here hire staff and acquire property in the community name. It's on two different items where it should be one. And there's still a line that the minimum quorum is 3 people when in fact it's 4. So we will have to have that change. Make a note in the minutes, please, of that.
Okay.
The drive for our intern is here and just about ready to be shipped to her.
Yes,
We will upload all the material and ship to her.
Trinity, you'll have it in a few days.
I think she
Okay.
had to, yeah. I think
No,
she
she's still here.
might- Oh, fantastic, fantastic. And Trinity has expressed a will to give a try to our minutes, which would be wonderful. So, yes, so that's a very good news, and we can meet with Chris and I and figure it out, but that's a wonderful thing.
Okay,
The letter for historical significance for Chestnut Street that needs to go in. It'll be done in the next few days. You don't have to approve it. But because of that technicality, that project on CPA went on for years without the building being approved as an historic building. I want to make sure that I have the wording just right and
okay,
acknowledge that. Last thing, and I can put it if you want on the next agenda. I think we need to kill the historic plaque program.
I'm getting a lot of interest though in it.
Yes, but it's not something that the commission
Right, right.
has to do.
We can talk about it at the next meeting.
Okay, but we're making a decision the next
Right.
meeting.
Okay,
So for
Okay.
people who want it and want to continue have it, you better have a craft person that will do the plaques
okay,
and a text of instruction.
okay,
All right, it's a threat.
okay.
I don't have anything else.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
The motion is to adjourn. Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gothier,
yes.
Commissioner Mizell, and the chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you for your work, everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night, you all. Thank
You
you.
too. Bye.
Bye-bye.